when it comes to like who's gonna win, I think Carolina's gonna win. I think it's gonna be in 7 at home. But I think Taylor Hall's going to win Conn Smythe. I feel like he's got a little bit of Justin Williams in him right now, where
I
when
see
they
it,
made
yeah.
that run back in the day, he's Mr. Game 7. He just always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. Welcome back, Benchwarmers. We have finally made it. It is time for the Stanley Cup Final. We know who's playing in it. Aaron will let us know who he thinks about that or what he thinks about that shortly. Don't worry. But it is time for the Stanley Cup Final preview. Welcome back, Benchwarmers. And Aaron and Tyler, welcome back, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. Tyler, any thoughts on the matchup? Aaron, we're going to get to you in a minute. Don't worry, relax. I just want to get Tyler's initial thoughts of we're in the Stanley Cup Final. How are we feeling going into it? I don't want your preview prediction or anything, but just how are you feeling going into the final, sir?
Yeah, of course. I am a big proponent of non-traditional hockey markets. So seeing as how we have a southwestern market and a southeastern market in the cup final instead of those hockey snobs up north, I'm all into it. I think it'll be a very fun series.
All right, I'm with you there. Definitely looking forward to it. And as you said, some weird markets as far as the NHL. Vegas is a little bit better. Could have been, I guess Colorado. I don't know if Denver probably would have been a little bit better, I guess, but it doesn't matter. Aaron, don't get into your whole thoughts about that team that I mentioned, but just your initial thoughts going into the final. Happy, excited for it. How you feeling?
Well, I couldn't be happier for the East, how that turned out there. The Hurricanes have been a team that I've always felt could get over that hump and should have won a cup by now, at least even. I mean, I think there's been a lot of competitive teams, obviously, on the East there, but it's super cool to see them in the finals at this point. Really cool for their coaching, with Brenda Moore being the captain of the last team that won the cup, and now he's the coach, which is that's a rare thing you don't see too often, right? So that was a pretty cool.
Not only that,
turnout.
he has played in or coached like 99
right.
out of the 105 games they played in the playoffs as a franchise, which is kind of crazy.
Mr. Carolina over here.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Sure. But yeah,
right,
I mean, honestly, cool stuff so far to see for the East. But we'll get to the West here. Go for it.
All right, so before we jump into the matchups here, before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes. Okay, so as we've done in the previous episodes, I'm going to give you a recap of who won and how many games in the last round, and then we'll give our thoughts and predictions on the series. So both conference finals were pretty quick. Carolina, for a split second when they lost that first game to Montreal, I think we all thought, we might have a series. And then they gentlemen swept them in 5. So that took care of that. And I think it, in a weird way, kind of woke up Carolina, which might be good for them in the long run. And then the other series, which unfortunately, as two of us didn't want it to go the way it did, the Golden Knights swept the Colorado Avalanche, who were the President Trophy winner, in 4 games, and it didn't even feel like, it felt like 2.5 games, really. It was not much of a series. So, okay, Aaron, before we jump into predictions and what we think of the actual Stanley Cup Final, the floor is yours, sir, about the Colorado Avalanche and how you might have been right over Tyler and I.
Oh, thank you. It's been a long time coming. I feel like this is acceptance speech. I from the beginning, we were in that hotel in Nashville, and I saw you guys all taking Colorado to go far, and I don't know. It's not that I actually hate this team. I like to joke around that I hate the Avs. I really don't as much anymore. My Landeskog hate has gone away, just seeing all that he's gone through with the injuries and long-term struggles to play even. And it's kind of impressive that he's been as effective as he has, coming back as their captain. But yeah, in the end, all I have to say is that they were outmatched. They definitely looked hurt. They were hurt because Makar they're questionable for him coming back at the start of next year, which is crazy because he played those last couple games.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not so sure he will be back in time for October, which tells you it was something major. But he's a warrior. He's an NHL player. They love to tough it out, right? That's the MO with guys around the league. So I'm not surprised at all. We have anytime a team gets eliminated, you hear about all those crazy injuries. But yeah, I think for the Avs, they had it too easy for too long, I think. And especially when your first round series was against the Kings, a team that really shouldn't have been in the playoffs. My Kings hate coming out.
Hey, you know what, though? They could have said that. A lot of people have been saying about the entire Pacific Division.
Yeah, you're fair.
Playoffs, and now the Pacific Division team is in the
finals. I had a feeling it would be that way. In truth, I thought it was going to be the Oilers at the start of it, but we took care of business there, so no problem there. But the Knights, They've made their way to the finals, and I'm not super happy about it, but I'm happy to see that I was right about the Avalanche. So that's about it. I'll leave it with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think any of us are happy that Vegas is in the final because one, their fans are annoying as shit because they've been doing. I mean, let's be honest. This is their 9th season in total. This is their third
cup final.
Third time they've been in the final, and they have a chance to win their second cup in 9 years.
Dear God.
I mean, that's amazing, but also so frustrating because it's taking so long to even get one, and they're gonna possibly walk into 2 under 10 years.
Their first year they missed the playoffs. If you want to hear a fun fact, they had more wins that season than they did this year, which is kind of crazy. Like, so they weren't even a bad team when they missed. They barely missed. They just needed like one shootout victory out of their last 2 games, and they lost both of those in a shootout, which is crazy. Like,
well, it doesn't.
They
help
weren't even that bad.
They had a worse record this year than they what, more losses than wins this year. Also, by the way, I muted Aaron, so I don't know what he said. I'm assuming he was talking. I'm just kidding. He rightfully earned the chance.
Actually, didn't give you too much shit. It was mostly just him talking about himself, so he didn't miss much.
Okay, that checks out. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I was right.
It's kind of frustrating to see that level of success that Vegas has had,
Right.
Especially, I was on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. There was a graphic going around of like how each team has built their roster, and it was of the entirety of Vegas and the entirety of Carolina. There's exactly one homegrown top 5 drafted pick, and that was Svechnikov for Carolina, obviously. Looking at Vegas's roster, I think it's kind of not a great argument because Eichel was a 2nd overall pick. Marner was a 4th overall pick. You have a lot of high-end talent. It's just those guys are required in trades. Those guys are required maybe in free agency. Like, it was weird to see Marner's name as a trade because it technically was because it was yeah, I know, right? Like, it's just the weird world where they got Nicholas Waugh, who ended up playing for the Avalanche in the long run because Toronto flipped him anyways. So just a weird world we live in. But I mean, I
didn't even think about that. He faced the Knights in the. That's right.
Yeah, I think Aaron made a good point though. Just the seeing Carolina get over the hump in terms of at least making a cup final is awesome. I think for a long time, a lot of us have viewed them as kind of the Sharks of the East, where they were always the team in contention. Fair. It was a will they, won't they? Are they ever going to get to that cup final? And they've at least gotten over the hump to make the cup final, and we'll see who's rooting for them in the cup final later. So.
Yep.
Well, it also didn't help that before this round, or the Eastern Conference Final this year, they were like 1-17 or 1-15 in their last, so many conference final games played. So it wasn't that they weren't winning and just like losing, game 6 or 7. They were like getting to the conference final and then basically shutting down. So this year, I think losing that first game in the 3rd round woke them back up, obviously, because they outshot Montreal like 2 or 3 times every game. I mean, they outworked them. So I think that game losing might have been a benefit of the doubt or benefit to them when it comes long term. Also, as a Ducks fan, I'm rooting for Freddie Anderson to win his first cup.
Oh man, that interview.
Also to beat Marner, his former teammate from Toronto. So that would be a little nice thing on top. Plus, obviously, with the sad passing of Claude Lemieux and Freddie's connection to there, he's obviously playing with a heavy heart. So I think he's going to be ready to go. Man, I'm excited. I think as much as I don't like Vegas, this is going to be a really good matchup because Carolina is up and down and does not stop, and Vegas is very physical and will beat you up. And they can hang and keep up with the speed, but I think Carolina is on a mission, and because having not won one before and having so many guys there hungry, oh man, I feel good about the series. I'm hoping it goes at least 6 or 7. I don't want this to be a quick series regardless of who wins. I want a long series in this at least.
Good finals, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've got the layout, Aaron got to brag about how he was right about the. And one thing I will say about the Avs, they did win the President's Trophy. That's kind of a curse, so I'm going to take that as why, and has nothing to do with your thoughts. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Because it happens, it's nobody wins the President's Trophy and the Cup, so that was just what happened. They just got
hasn't happened for a full season and forever. Yeah, like it's been a long time.
Yeah, Chicago in 2013, we don't count.
Their short season doesn't count.
Exactly. So, okay, now that we know who's playing when and where, well, actually, let's break down the schedule here for you guys if you don't know. Game 1 is obviously tomorrow, Tuesday, in Carolina. They get to host. So Tuesday, Thursday, 1 and 2, and then I was telling Aaron before you got on here, it's a weird breakdown in the series on the schedule on the back end because they go Tuesday, Thursday, game 1 and 2 in Carolina, no big deal. Then they go game 3 and 4 Saturday, Tuesday in Vegas. So either there's a concert or something in Vegas or Carolina, so they've had to juggle it a little bit. And then Game 5 will be Thursday in Carolina if necessary. Game 6 Sunday in Vegas, and Game 7 in Carolina again if necessary.
Well, is part of it NBA coverage crossover? You think, or because I know it's going to be on ESPN, but usually NBA is on ABC, right? Like,
well, actually, this is on ABC, but I mean, it's the same.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It's
the
same thing. So they must. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're alternating days, so they're not playing.
Because obviously NBA Finals is set. So
okay, that makes more sense. Because otherwise, I was like, this is a weird breakdown.
It's a big gap. Yeah.
Especially Game 3 and 4, you're not traveling cities, and you still have an extra day in between.
Yeah, exactly. And the past two, you've had the excuse of the Canada to Florida, the Western Canada to Florida. Like,
yes,
maybe you could say travel, but like this is not as bad for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's not a quick flight. I mean Vegas to Carolina is not straight, so it's definitely some distance. So, okay, let's see, Tyler, your first thoughts on the series? Not necessarily a prediction of who you think's going to win, but what you're looking forward to. Maybe an X factor player that you're looking forward to as well.
Yeah, so I mean, to kind of talk about Carolina starters first and foremost, I mean, it's hard not to say that there's really, I think, two X factors for them. I think it's as much as it pains me to say, as number one John Gibson fan, Freddie's been unreal for them. Obviously, really seeing him be able to play that game 5, obviously with having lost his longtime friend and of course agent and Claude, having him get that win, I think was so meaningful for him. And I think it would be awesome to see him be able to win a cup. I mean, as much as I joke that like I don't want him to win because it means that he's better than Gibson. Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that
I think the numbers back that up already, but okay, anyway.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that it would be awesome to see Freddie be able to win the cup, and I think at the other end of the day, or the other spectrum too, looking at the forward group for Carolina, I think that they just have so much depth. I mean, they really don't have a superstar. Like, with all due respect to Svechnikov, with all due respect to Aho, like,
yeah.
I mean, you could argue Stankoven is becoming a much better player than I think a lot of people gave him credit for when he was in Dallas. And I think that whole line was really going to be my other X factor of Jackson Blake, Taylor Hall looking like he's going to win another Hart Trophy.
I know.
Obviously Stankoven just with his talent, like that line is incredible so far for them. I think that they're given maybe little HBK lines from the good old Penguins days, possibly, in terms of just a very elite group that just seemingly is just killing the opposition. I mean, I think a very underrated player so far for them has been Keandre Miller. Like, he's been incredible for them this postseason, and it's a guy that, I was never super high on when he was in the Rangers, part of it because I hate the Rangers. Sorry, Aaron. But it's something that, like, it's crazy that you just look at their team. It's very much a just unit, and people are really bought into that Brind'Amour system. So I think that Carolina, I'm very hopeful for. Vegas, I still don't want to talk about them. It's still too soon. The notion that Marner could win a cup is hilarious, admittedly.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I'm curious to see for Vegas. Like, I know Stone's obviously kind of been injured a little bit throughout the course of the playoffs. They haven't had a massive amount of correct, fair. So I don't know. I think it'll be a good series. Like, we'll get into predictions here in a bit, but I definitely leaning more to the good old bunch of jerks, admittedly.
Oh
yeah, and then looking at the Carolina roster too, like Jordan Stahl. I mean, just longtime guys with Taylor Hall. I mean, he hasn't won a cup. He's been moving around. I didn't realize Nick Delorier is in Carolina. When did that happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right.
They got traded at the trade deadline. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I do not remember him being there. So, but yeah, it's an older roster compared to, I feel like. Well, no, Vegas is pretty seasoned. I mean, Stone obviously, and a lot of these guys were on the team in 23 when they won the cup last time. So, kind of crazy. That would be Eichel's second if they win, right? He was there the last time they won.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 cups before McDavid gets one.
Arguably, Eichel should have won the Conn Smythe last time because he was their best player. With all due respect to Jonathan Marchessault, Eichel should have won the Conn Smythe, but that's just me.
Yeah, and honestly, if they win this time, I think Marner's the dropped-in favorite.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean,
Carter Hart.
They got a goaltender, unfortunately. So I don't know.
That's true.
I think it's Marner though. I think they would give it to Marner. I mean, he's leading the league in points so far. Through 12 games, something like that.
Yeah.
No, that was last round. Excuse me. I think he's still. I think he's still leading. He just. Yeah. It's.
I guess if Carter Hart has like 2 or 3 shutouts, or they win 4-1, and he has he's playing on his head. But between him and Freddie, I got to imagine we're pretty even. No, Carter Hart might be a little bit better, but it's not terribly, hard.
It's not crazy different.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Aaron, your thoughts on the matchup, but also Vegas does things differently and has taken a lot of chances that I feel like most teams wouldn't with trades and
Yeah.
signing of Carter Hart and with the different issues of things. Your thoughts on the series and matchup and even Vegas and how they've built this team. I know Tyler mentioned a little bit earlier how it's not the normal or kind of weird way, but Vegas just seems to be doing things different since day one.
They really have. I mean, just their big first like betrayal, you could call it, or kind of going away from how teams do things was getting rid of Marc-Andre Fleury the year he won the Vezina Trophy. Like
Right.
that's
Yep.
a move that you look at on paper, or even just from a sentimental perspective. He's your first drafted player in the expansion draft and kind of the face of your franchise in a
Yeah.
weird
True.
kind of uncertain time. There's never been a real national team there in Vegas, so he was a big part of getting them established and giving them immediate respect. Like, oh, they have a world class goalie already off the hop, and then the story of their first year kind of took off already from there. But yeah, they get rid of him. They trade away Suzuki, who was a pick that obviously has worked out for Montreal. That player's worked out over there as their captain, and they get for Pacioretty they trade away like 3 firsts to get Tomas Tatar, who didn't even play in the playoffs for them.
Wow.
They've been, for no puns here, they gamble big, and so far they get the house money and it's paid off for them because 3 trips to the finals in their first 9 years is stupid. But at the same time, you have to respect the dedication to we're going to be competitive every year and we're not going to just take time to be bad. It's not an option for them right now. It's going to happen eventually when all these older guys, like you mentioned, Corey, start to age out and you don't have any prospects to replace them. But they've got that winning pedigree and this kind of like allure to free agents that they get to come and play in a winning city. So, for what it's worth, they are a passionate city for that team. So more so than they are for like the Raiders, right? So not saying much, maybe, but it's their team.
No, but it helps when the city's born from that area. Vegas,
exactly.
Raiders are just moving. I mean, they went from Oakland to LA to Oakland to Vegas.
They're an LA team, which is crazy.
Vegas. Nobody knows the Oakland teams or what they're doing. But I'm with you on that. They do love that team. I mean, we obviously went to game 2 in Vegas when the Ducks were playing in the second round, and that place was loud, and they do love it. And I mean, for a non-hockey town, they definitely know what's going on and paying attention and when to chant and all that stuff. So it is a nice thing for the league, as you said. I think it also Seattle's done decent, but not what obviously Vegas did.
They've done what probably people expected Vegas to be, which is a kind of middling team that's made a couple runs at it, but not the crazy success that Vegas has had.
No, but I mean, like we talked about, Vegas has done things differently from day one. All those trades they did to not draft this guy, but then they end up taking this guy off of their hands, and then it ends up being a bet. Like, I know we always go by the William Karlsson going from Columbus to there with a former Duck, so that one hurts. Shea Theodore, he's still there.
Theodore hurts even more.
Man, that one hurts real bad.
Especially those last couple of games against the Ducks, he being on the score sheet as many times as he was. It's like, well, that was the big fear. So
I think it was so nice of the Knights to welcome us to game 2 by giving us a lovely Shea Theodore towel. Like, I was like, oh good, we just another way we just.
I'm not gonna lie, that was the first thing I noticed when we sat down. I went, no way, and I turned to Tim. I was like, "Do you think they did this on purpose, knowing we're playing them because he's a former Duck?" And I don't know, maybe, but I feel like
it's
why
been
else
enough
would you
time.
play him?
But
it's kind of a I mean, I know, but still, just as a little jab, just say, hey, just
like, hey, here's our star defenseman you gave us.
It's really interesting because, like, looking at, I think game 1, like, you easily could have made an argument that series of, because that was Wild Bill's first game in 60 plus games. So I understand why he maybe wasn't the guy for game 1. But I think game 1's towel was like Barbashev, who granted was a great pickup for them. Like, he's been a great player, but they very well could have leaned into the troll list. They could have leaned into the X-Ducks. They could have had Wild Bill game 1. They could have had Shea game 2. And ultimately in game 5, they could have had Ducks legend Ben Hutton, like just just a couple.
COVID legend.
Ben Hutton. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yep. Man. Nice cup of coffee in Anaheim.
All right, so obviously we've all given our thoughts on the series, who we think what, and blah, blah, but not predictions. Aaron, I'm going to go with you last. Tyler, I'll start with you first, sir. Prediction, who's going to win and in how many games?
Man, it's tough.
And your Conn Smythe winner, by the way.
Oh, Conn Smythe, can't forget.
Good. That's good call. Good call. So I'm torn. I think regardless, Carolina's my pick. On the one hand, I think it would be very cool to see Carolina. It's not going to happen, but to see Carolina sweep Vegas just to say they're the best team of all time, purely from a wins and loss
Yeah,
perspective in a
Oh
cup
yeah,
in a playoff. I
they could
think
do
right
it.
now the
they're
record's what 16
12-1.
and 4. I think 16-2.
Yeah, and they're 12-1 through the first 3 rounds.
Yes, I
And I
mean
mean,
if
Vegas themselves is 12-4 through the first 3 rounds. So it's not like one
true.
team
Yeah.
walked through everything and the other one had to battle 7 games. I mean, they both pretty much got here on an easy pace. So
That's true. I mean, it's a good point, I guess, now that you think about it that way. I think Carolina in 6 sounds right.
yeah,
I have a big thing, regardless of the team. I am a big proponent that I want to see a team win the cup at home. Unless it's the team I hate, like I don't want to see the Kings win the cup at home. I don't
yeah,
want to see
no.
the
Too
Predators
bad they
ever
did
win the
it
cup.
twice.
Like shut
The
up,
Predators
Aaron.
are never going to win a cup.
Ugh,
Predators
Hopefully
are never
not.
winning.
hopefully not.
So like in that sense, I would very much like to see Carolina be able to win the cup in 5. But at the same time, wouldn't necessarily hate the notion of seeing Carolina win the cup in 6 because that'll mean that's now twice that Vegas has had to watch someone else host the cup in their building
Celebrate
because
on their
obviously
ice.
when the
Yep.
when the Caps won the first time, they
Yep.
won in Vegas. So I think it'd be cool to be able to see Carolina. I just honestly just Carolina. That's all. I want them to win. Ideally in 5 would be
The
cool. As
details
long as
don't
it's
matter.
6, I don't want to deal with 7. 6 might be difficult, as I think Aaron and I are going to be a little busy on that day specifically. I think it's Sunday the 14th. Wink, wink. Conn
Oh,
Smythe. Yeah, Aaron gets it now.
Yeah.
Conn Smythe,
I was
though.
like, wait,
I
Aaron's not
think
getting that?
I don't know if it's been announced yet, so I don't know how well we can talk
it
Yeah,
about it.
no,
definitely
you're good.
hasn't.
You're good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Somebody said they got an email about it, so I don't know, man. Anyways, so as for Conn Smythe, I think kind of as Corey was mentioning earlier, I think if Carolina wins, like assuming he doesn't, win games 6-5 or something, I think
Hmm.
it's going to be hard, especially with what happened to Claude. Obviously, I think
Mm,
it's going to be Freddie, and I think it'll be cool for Freddie. I mean, I think that
Oh yeah.
he has by far been the biggest difference maker for this team this year. Because all the last playoffs that he's been on the team, it's been Anderson's playing good. Oh no, he's hurt. Anderson's playing good. Oh no, he's hurt.
Mhm.
Anderson's playing good. Oh no, he's hurt. And it's just,
Yep.
you really are happy to see a guy so far be able to make it through and be able to play to what a lot of people have seen is his high end talent, especially. So, um, I think if Carolina wins in especially 5 or 6, I would be surprised if it's not Freddie. I think that while I mentioned earlier how good that Stankoven, Hall, and Blake line has been. I don't know if you could give it to just one guy, like maybe Taylor Hall, but I feel like that's kind of weird just because of how good one guy has been. So I think Anderson personally would be my pick for the Conn Smythe.
All right, Aaron, your thoughts on who's going to win and how many games,
Those
and your Conn Smythe winner.
yeah, I mean, it is going to be an interesting series because I think there's two kind of very distinct ways it could go in terms of the pace. If Vegas is able to set the tone and they can get things rolling, it'll be very low scoring, it'll be heavy hitting, and which is kind of weird to say because I feel like that's been Carolina's identity is a little more low scoring, but they finally got a lot of goals going their way more so now, especially that last round against Montreal. They were lighting them up, and I think that's the other way it could go is a more high scoring. They get under Carter Hart's skin and they were able to get in there and make him look a little more what he looked like in Philly, which is kind of an average goalie, right? Like the last time he was back in the NHL. So that's the two ways I kind of see it. I tend to lean more towards Carolina being able to outclass them. I think, like we've talked about with their scoring depth in terms of Taylor Hall's line, and the fact that Stankoven. Actually, I wanted to mention this earlier. There was a kind of fun fact they put out there that he's already been to a Western Conference final, an Eastern final, and the Stanley Cup final in his first 3 years being in the league, which is kind of stupid.
Oh,
He's just deep playoff runs all the way around for his first kind of little bouts here in the NHL.
Was in
So
Dallas before? Is that
yeah,
where he got the comp?
his first
yeah,
year,
yeah,
rookie
yeah.
year in Dallas, he
Yeah.
went to the West Conference, lost to the Oilers, obviously. Didn't get too far last year with the Hurricanes, but then this year is back
This year.
in the conference
Wow.
finals and now in a cup final. So, and that's a guy, honestly, looking at who I would pick, I'll go Conn Smythe first. Looking at who I would pick, it's going to spoil who wins it, though. I would say Freddie as well, because I do think they live and breathe and die on the shoulders of Freddie Anderson so far. I mean, he's been their difference maker. The fact, like you said, Tyler, he's been healthy. No, knock on wood, we're jinxing him probably,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
if they can hold on to him, I think he slightly outclasses Carter Hart. even with the fact that he struggled most of the year, Carter Hart definitely had his struggles in the regular season as well. So I think he gets the edge there. But to say something a little different, I think I would go with Logan Stankoven. I mean, he's just, I think Brendan Moore said he was born to play Carolina hockey, which when you have a guy like him saying that, that's just
say,
like
yeah, coming
the
from
best
Brad,
praise
that
you can
makes a lot of
get.
sense.
That means a lot. I mean, yeah, that he would know if anybody. So I mean, he's a sneaky goal scorer. He's leading them in goals. He's got 9.
Damn.
I think he's the type of guy that if they're going to win, they're going to need him to pot in at least 3 or 4 more in this cup final. And I think he could pretty easily do it. I think he could be a goal per game guy in the finals and be that difference maker. Maybe have an OT winner and kind of get that little push to be the Conn Smythe champion there. And I do think that they get this done in 5. I think that the Knights have had a little tougher road. I'm going to give the Ducks a little credit. They made them fight for it. There was some overtime games in there. They had 2-3 overtime games with the Mammoth, I think, too.
Yeah, at least 2.
Yeah, so they've definitely played some hard hockey. So have the Canes, to be fair, but they I think they've had a little more punishing in terms of the physical side. And like you said, Tyler, Mark Stone, you never know how he's doing health wise. And yeah, I think if Marner cools down in any way too, they're gonna struggle a little bit. So they're definitely more top heavy than Carolina is. Carolina's an all around team. Like we didn't even mention Nikolai Ehlers, who they got from Winnipeg in the offseason. He's had a quiet playoffs, but he's kind of put his head down, got the work done defensively too. So he's not being flashy, but he's definitely been a valuable player. So yeah, I would say Carolina in 5.
I think the biggest thing with Ehlers is like because he's a former Jet. Like I think he's surprised they play hockey in June. Like normally they're done by May. Like they don't know.
That's new
they don't
for
know
him too.
hockey goes
First cup
this long.
final.
It's crazy.
First cup final for him too. That's crazy. Yeah, a lot of guys on that Carolina team have been close and not made it. Freddie in 2015, one win away from the cup final with us, and now he's there. So I think there's a lot of feeling that this is a lot of their guys' last shot at it. So they really gotta make this work now.
I mean, my God,
Yeah.
how many more
Oh,
years can he? He's like Corey Perry at this point.
Yeah.
I think he's hanging on to find a cup ring and get the hell out of
And
here.
he's the last of his brothers playing, right?
Exactly. I'm sure his dad's got to be like, thank God, I'm tired of rolling across the country watching all these damn games for everybody. Jeez.
Once Corey makes his pick, I have a fun bit of trivia for you, Corey. But you make your pick first. Let's see what you got.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, as far as pick, I am surprised I'm the only one that has this going more than 5. I can't believe you both have this in 5 games. But I think it's going to go 7. I think it's just going to be a home ice thing back and forth. I don't think anybody's going to score more than 3 or 4 goals a game, including an empty netter, because both goalies have been playing great. I think it's a matter of which goalie just kind of, falls first or gives up something early, and then whoever's got to play from behind. And when it comes to, like, who's going to win, I think Carolina's going to win. I think it's going to be in 7 at home. But I think Taylor Hall is going to win Conn Smythe because, as you guys have mentioned, that line has been great. And I feel like he's got a little bit of Justin Williams in him right now, where when they made that run back in the day, he's Mr. Game 7. He just always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. Hall's played a long time. He's been to a final before, and he's lost. So this is his chance to get it. This, like you said, this might be the last chance for a lot of these guys, including Stahl and Hall. So I think Hall's going to be big in this series. I think they win in 7 at home, and he gets the Conn Smythe. And then, honestly, I think he hangs him up after that because if I'm him, I don't know what else I'd be playing for at that point. So
yeah.
Fair.
All right, so we all have Carolina winning just in a different amount of games, both 5 for you, 7 for me. Tyler, your trivia, please.
So, in the event that Jordan Stahl wins the cup this year, he will set the record as the longest tenure between your first cup victory and your second cup victory. Obviously, 09 with Pittsburgh, and then this would be 26, of course. That's 17 years. Do you have an idea who the current record holder is? I already quizzed Aaron on this, and he admittedly took him a little longer because he forgot this player existed, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is 16 years. I'll give you that. Obviously, we don't want to string the viewers on too long, so I can happily give you some more hints.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. 16 years apart from first appearance or first win of each.
First win, first Stanley Cup win, and second Stanley Cup win, excluding Stanley Cup appearances. So, Perry obviously hasn't won a second cup, but Perry very clearly could break this record next year potentially because 07 to 27
is not far enough in between, right? Edmonton and New
no,
York.
Sir. I think he had less than 10 years because he had that one cup. He had that one cup as an Oiler without Gretzky, and then obviously won in '94 famously with the Rangers. Yeah, everyone forgets about that one.
I honestly have no idea. 16 years in between. That's crazy.
So 16 years in between. He won in '86 as a member of the Montreal Canadiens. He also won in 2002 as a member of the Detroit Red Wings and ultimately in 2008 as well. It is your favorite defenseman, Chris Chelios.
Oh, wow. Damn, that's crazy. 16 years in between a cup win.
Yep, and then won another cup 6 years later. So, yeah, it sounds false because
what did he play, like 22 years or some shit like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because he was playing up until he was like 48 in Atlanta.
Oh,
Doesn't even exist anymore. It's
Can we
crazy.
please stop trying Atlanta. Stop trying to put a team in Atlanta.
That's next up.
Let's give him back to Arizona. We won another one.
Oh God, that's so stupid.
Atlanta's already had 2-3 tries. They're gonna try it again.
The question is who's gonna be their Danny Heatley this time in Atlanta?
Oh, their superstar face.
Okay, but at least are they going to go back to Thrashers?
Sure.
Again? We're just going to use the same name. We're not even going to try.
Nah, they're probably just going to try
for sure
do
a different name. They'd for sure do a different name.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. I don't think it's going to work regardless, but that's okay.
Nope.
All right. Let us know in the comments below who you got winning the cup, and also hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at RVUFTB and tell us why the Ducks are winning the cup in 27. Because I know we all agree on that.
20 years apart. That's the other thing. If Carolina wins in this year, it's 20 years apart from their last cup. So the next year, Ducks win 20 years from their cup. It's beautiful.
Okay, I thought about this because Peter from broadcasting or from the entertainment told me this last week. He was like, it sucks that we lost, but we overachieved. We shouldn't have been here, blah blah. He goes, but it feels a lot like 06. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, in 06, we went to the conference final. We shouldn't have been there. We lost, and then we went and got Pronger, and then we won the cup. He's like, so we went farther than we were supposed to. In the offseason, we make a nice little move here and there. Bingo, bango, we win a cup. I'm like, that sounds good to me. I'm in. So that would be awesome.
And if that trend follows,
I hope we're
the Oilers end up losing.
The 20-year anniversary, though, because I don't want to celebrate 20 years of not winning a cup.
No, we celebrate with a cup.
Yeah.
There we go. Celebrate the anniversary by winning another one. That would be great.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen. Any last thoughts before we wrap up and get out of here and get ready for game 1 tomorrow night?
Just want to quickly shout out USC Baseball. They won their regional championship for the first time in 21 years, which is terrifying, hence the lovely USC hat today. That's nothing. They're probably going to get cakewalked by North Carolina Tar Heels in the Super Regional, but go Trojans. Big fan.
That's why I play the games. You never know. Aaron, last thoughts, sir.
True. Last thoughts? Well, if I want to pull a different sport thought as well, let's go Knicks. Come on, that's crazy. They got to win something. It's been more than double my lifetime.
Okay, before we wrap up, because I am going to do an NBA Finals preview one tomorrow by myself. Nice. But since you gentlemen are here, who got winning the finals? Spurs, Knicks, how many games?
Oh, I got to do Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6.
I got Spurs in... I got Spurs in 4 because I'm a Celtics fan and I will not let the Knicks win.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, we'll take it. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind when I do my preview for the NBA Finals and see how you guys do in that prediction as well. But again, as always, I appreciate you guys taking out the time to be here and do this. So thank you again.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
All right. And as always, until next time, Benchwarmers, stay ready. This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.